time now. So let's play hockey.
All right, welcome to the Let's Play Hockey podcast. We're at the Let's Play Hockey Expo here. It is Saturday. Lots of traffic, lots of stuff going on. We got a big tilt going on right now. St. Paul Cathedral against East Grand Forks. And tonight's a big one. We got Stillwater against Moorhead. My guest is Tom Pederson, played at Bloomington Jefferson, the Minnesota Gopher. Now runs Green Biscuit, a company that sells a street hockey puck, a stick handling puck. Really helps kids with their hands and their stick handling. Welcome, Tommy. You've been at this show for a long time.
I don't know how many years it's been, but it's been quite a few.
Yeah.
Come back every year and watch the hockey. It's been great.
Yeah, you've been here longer than I have.
I think I have been.
Yeah. I played in the state tournament. You played in the state tournament. For me, one of the greatest memories of my lifetime. Where's it rank for you? Just tell me about your experience as a player growing up Bloomington Jefferson. That was back in the heyday of Jefferson.
Yeah, that was the beginning of it. I was kind of middle. Jefferson won the tourney in 81, and then I played in 86 and 88. And then after I left, they went on a run. They won 3 in a row, I think. With Tucker, Parrish, Crowley, Treble, Lundeen, all these guys.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Sophomore year playing at the Civic Center, the clear glass. Kids don't know what that is, but that was awesome.
Yeah. Talking to someone about that. I played 91, the last of the grade 8. Then they went to the 2-tier system in 92.
I think the 2 tiers too. I was against it at the beginning. I think it's been a really good thing. I really do.
I agree. And I almost feel, we talked about it on this podcast before, me and Brian Bonnen, that is it time for a 3rd tier?
Yeah, I don't know about that. My concern with the 2-tier was that the hockey skill, the level was going to drop too much, and that wouldn't be good for hockey. But I watched these single A games, and these kids are right there.
Yeah.
They might not be quite as deep as the double A teams, but they're good. So I don't know if we're ready for. That'd be for someone else to decide. I don't love my pay grade.
Yeah, right. But you're right as far as depth goes. Edina can roll 3 lines, Moorhead can roll 3 lines. So you look at your Class A teams, their top line is just as good as anybody.
Yeah.
But it might fall off a little bit that second and third.
Yeah, in the second, against those teams, the second and third period, you're going to wear them down.
Right.
And that's where they usually get them. But you're right about the first lines. They're right up there.
Yeah. You went and played at the Gophers. Tell me about that experience.
So I was I played my freshman year. I was on a freaking stacked team. Rob Stauber was a goalie. I was a defenseman. I didn't even have to break the puck out. He was so good with it, he'd break it out.
Yeah.
My D partner was Todd Richards. We had Chorsky, Snuggerud, Pete Hankinson. Yeah, my gosh, Randy Scarta. We were loaded, and we lost to Harvard in the national championship game 4-3 at the Civic Center. That was a heartbreaker.
To this day, I watched that game. Still one of the greatest hockey games that I've watched. As far as just the back and forth, and I was at the age where, I was just all in, right? I was all in. The Gophers are going to do it. Harvard, but they were good back then. They're not. Maybe
they were loaded too. They had
McDonald,
Borbo, Ted Donato.
Yeah.
Ed Crayer scored the winning goal. I think C.J. Young was on that team. Lane McDonald.
Yeah.
These are all good hockey players. They would, obviously kick our ass in the classroom, and then they beat us on the ice. So that was double whammy.
Did you get them in the parking lot?
All really good guys. I got to know them a little bit after that. Some of them I played with in, national events. And I just, hockey world's small. They're all awesome guys.
Right. Got drafted. Tell me about that process, getting that call.
So the first year I didn't get drafted because I was too small to play and whatever. So I went through the whole draft. And then the second year was my freshman year at the U. And I had a pretty good freshman year. And I almost went through the whole draft again. I got drafted in the 11th round. They don't even have that round anymore.
Right.
So I literally went through almost 2 full NHL drafts without being drafted. So
the team calling you saying that they were thinking about you?
Nah, it's not how they did it back then.
So you weren't like glued to the phone or the TV. Back on cell phone.
Yeah,
they just stayed in your kitchen.
Yeah. I don't know. I knew I didn't get drafted the first year. I was pretty upset, but it just motivated me to, to be a better player and prove people wrong. And I think, over time, that's what I did.
We talked about, you can't teach size and playing against guys like, well, you played with Dougie Smolik, right?
Yep.
Big guy, prototypical D-man, great skater, good player. Obviously the scouts see someone big like him, and how tall are you? How big are you?
5'2".
5'2".
I say I'm 5'9".
Undersized and fat, right? But you could skate, and you were tough,
And I could shoot.
and you could shoot,
Yeah.
and obviously, how many games did you play in the NHL then?
What did I do? I think I played, I don't know, 230 maybe.
230.
Yeah, not counting playoffs, something like that.
What was that like playing in the NHL?
Well,
I mean,
that's the big.
about this.
It's a big enchilada. You grow up. I think I did it right. You grow up at Jefferson as a young kid. You want to play in the state high school hockey tournament. First, you want to play varsity, and then you want to make the state high school hockey tournament, and then you want to be a college hockey player. And I hope that's still the case. And then if you go to college and you find out a lot about how good you are, because now you get the best kids your age are coming together, and that people still start falling off, and then you hope you have a good enough college career to get a look in the NHL. And I think that's still every kid's dream in Minnesota. If it's changed, someone's got to tell me, because
I think that's a unique thing about Minnesota. I think every kid kind of follows that path, right? And a lot of kids don't even make their high school team.
Yeah.
And then some that do, a lot of them don't. Most of them don't play college.
Most don't play college.
And
Now you got a lot of junior leagues around. So if some kid's a late bloomer, he needs a couple of years to develop physically, and he gets a chance to play and to keep playing, and then all of a sudden, boom, he comes back. He's 6 or 7 inches taller and 20 or 30 pounds heavier. He's a different person.
Yeah.
That does happen.
Absolutely. I think a lot of evaluation happens. Evaluating 15 and 16-year-olds a little different than.
It's hard.
Well, yeah, I weighed 150 pounds when I graduated college or high school.
Yeah.
I wish I weighed, about 80 pounds.
Yeah, I was about this size when I was in 8th grade.
So we talk about development. Let's talk a little bit of Green Biscuit.
Okay.
How long have you had Green Biscuit?
Oh, it's about 15 years now.
Okay.
So it's, pretty much the gold standard for off-ice training, saucer pass, one-touch pass, toe drags. It's been really, really good. So I got screaming deals down here. It's just still got time to come down and get some pucks if you want.
And you can personalize these pucks, right? So you can personalize them for associations, for tournaments.
Doing a lot of customized, I call them custom logo pucks. So you got tournaments or you got fundraisers. It's great for fundraising. Everybody looks at a Green Biscuit. Most of the hockey people know what it is, but now you can put your logo in there and you can advertise, what you're doing, your association, and also fundraise out of it.
Okay. Good.
Tournament gifts. I do a lot of that.
Yeah, for like the grab bags, every kid gets a Green Biscuit.
Yeah.
And the good thing about that is you can train with the Green Biscuit. You don't need an hour's worth of ice. All you need is a stick. And
yeah, we didn't have this when I was growing up. We
use tennis balls.
We would burn the fuzz off the tennis ball, put lighter fluid off of it, and we'd go.
Yeah.
You don't want to get hit with the Green Biscuit. It ain't going to feel very good. So, but if you're just looking at training those skills like, toe drags and saucer passes, there's nothing better for it, and you don't even need to be on a smooth surface. That's what sets it apart. It doesn't flip over. It stays flat.
Okay.
Yeah. That's really what sets it apart.
And now with the youth season coming to an end, obviously the high school season's coming to a close tonight. Everyone's looking, what can I do in the summer to get better coming into the fall tryouts next year? Obviously, the stick work is very important in today's game. Skating is huge. But if you skate and you can't handle the puck, well, you can only go so far. You got to be able to do both. So,
yep. I play with a lot of guys that could really skate fast. I mean, they'd fly, and then you put a puck on their stick, and it was like a tractor pull when you see them slow down. But, a guy like McDavid, I remember, for me, Paul Correa, my day, Timo Solani, those are two guys that were about as fast as they were with the puck as they were without the puck. And that's dangerous. Yeah, that's unusual. So, the more you can handle the puck, the Green Biscuit, you handle it off ice, it's going to transition right on the ice. That skill is going to come with you. So, more touches, more feel. I think it's all a benefit if you use the puck off the ice.
It's a better feel. Like, say we train with tennis balls, have an actual puck on your stick, off ice, dry land training, just make it a part of your routine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. How do people get them? You can get them
well,
online, obviously.
You can buy them at every Tree Hockey's got them. Pirani's in Michigan, Dick's Sporting Goods, of course, Amazon, and then a bunch of mom and pops. Letterman in town here. Like I said, Pure. I know I'm forgetting some of them, but pretty much if you're
a hockey retailer, you got Green Biscuits.
And if you don't, contact me. I'll set you up.
All right, you heard that. If you don't have Green Biscuit in your hockey store, get a hold of Tom Pederson from Green Biscuit. I appreciate you joining us. I know you got to get back to your booth and sell some biscuits.
All right. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks, Tom.
All right.
All right, welcome back to the Let's Play Hockey podcast. We are at the Let's Play Hockey Expo. We're at day 2. It is Saturday, Championship Saturday. We've got a couple big games going on tonight. I'm joined right now by Glynn from Pliable Marketing. We're going to talk a little NIL. Now, a lot of people don't know what NIL is. It's kind of come on the scene the last couple of years, a little bit bigger in your D1 football and basketball. These kids are getting, getting deals and stuff, sponsorship deals and whatnot. And we're going to talk a little bit about opportunities maybe in the hockey world here. And I don't know, Greg, if you work outside of hockey too, or
absolutely. Okay. Yeah, there's opportunity there for everybody.
Tell us how it works. I mean, what NIL, what it stands for, how it works, and what do we need to know about it?
Yeah, it's a whole new world. You're right, Brian, because basically a lot of athletes are hearing about these college quarterbacks, right, and making millions. And so NIL is name, image, and likeness. And there was a Supreme Court ruling in 2021 that basically forced the NCAA to say you need to allow these athletes to use their name, image, and likeness to be able to monetize it, essentially. It actually started with a video game. Ed O'Bannon was a basketball player at UCLA. He actually sued the NCAA saying that you're using my name, image, and likeness in a video game. And that's what then started a series of court cases that led to college athletes eventually being able to monetize their name, image, and likeness. And it has started with, football and basketball, the world. That's where a lot of the athletes are making the big money. But I'm here to be able to help educate people that this is not just for those sports. It's for anyone that wants to build their, what I call athlete brand, which means, what do you stand for? What do you want to do in life? Like, there's a whole much more to just NIL than making money on the internet, trying to be a brand ambassador for a company. So it really comes down to, what do you want to do in life? What are you passionate about? And then let's partner you with brands or even nonprofits, quite honestly, that will forward your mission to be able to do that.
So not so much of a money grab as it is maybe being an influencer in your own way on things that you want to attach yourself to and kind of be a part of.
Yeah.
Now I know there are some opportunities some financial opportunities. Maybe it's not always a cash situation.
Right.
It might be a product situation.
Absolutely.
Something like that.
I want to give Nautical Bowls as a good example, right? So Nautical Bowls has worked with several Pliable athletes where they basically get free bowls when they go to Nautical Bowls in exchange for making social media posts. That's a great example of something a product that the athletes enjoy. It's healthy. It's easy. It's on the go, right? You know how athletes are always on the go.
Right.
And so they don't have to then spend that money. So in that sense, they're then saving money, but they're getting quality food rather than their cafeteria food sometimes that's not exactly the greatest. And so then they're able to do that. Then they make posts on social media, which then has a promo code. So someone sees it and goes in and saves 10% using that promo code, which also then tells the business it's working. So when, Kara Sajovic has a promo code at Nautical Bowls, someone can go in and they can say, oh, wow, someone saw Kara's post. Like, it's working. And I like those partnerships the best because I do hear from the brands that are like, oh, yeah, we've heard about it, but we're not sure how it would work, or we don't think it'll work. And I'm like, oh, we can measure this if you want to, make it work. And so that's where I think a lot of brands also don't know, right? We talk about the athletes and the parents not knowing.
Right.
The brands are still trying to figure this thing out.
Sure. So, obviously we have a lot of brands around the expo here.
Yeah.
There's so many athletes out there who have, followers on their social media and whatnot. And you're kind of the middleman, right? So you connect the brand to the athlete.
Yeah.
Or the athlete to the brand.
Yep. And so I run a full service NIL agency is what it's called now in this day and age, where basically I am their NIL marketing agent, which is allowed. And that's a whole nother topic that has been so taboo, right? Is having an agent. Right. So people think, oh, my son or daughter can't have an agent yet because they're going to lose their eligibility. yeah, that's the case. I'm not here to go try and get you to play for the Wild or the Frost. Like I'm here to help you get marketing deals. And so that's where there's a difference. And that's what the NCAA allows is they blatantly say on their website, you are allowed to have a nil marketing agent. And quite honestly, if you're going to try to go get nil deals and try to build these partnerships, it'd be silly to try and do it alone.
Sure. I think you and I in a private conversation, we talked about Reggie Bush
Yes.
and how he was trying to go retroactive to get money from back when he played because, and let's face it, I mean, you think about the NCAA is selling Reggie Bush jerseys, in every sporting goods store across the country. And Reggie's like, man,
Where's my cut?
He's like, where's my percentage? I get it. And tell me where that's at. I mean, I've been following that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that's even brings up a whole nother topic, which is now there's going to be a settlement that's coming from the NCAA. That's going to be the House versus the NCAA case that's supposed to be settled here in April that will allow athletes back to 2016 to actually capitalize on their name, image, and likeness that they would have received if they had been allowed to do the NIL back then. So a lot of the money actually that's going to go out is going to go to football and basketball, the revenue generating sports, because they were on TV. Those are the ones that have the jerseys. Those are the ones that, basically have had NIL, but just haven't been compensated. So you're not going to see like women's ice hockey not going to get compensated, right? Like 2016, if you're a women's ice hockey player and saying, oh, I can get some money, probably not, because it's going to be based on TV and revenue and all that.
Yeah, if you played lacrosse at River Falls, you probably ain't got a check coming to you. Well, good. Talk to me like I'm a parent. And I got a 21-year-old college athlete, and he's playing baseball at Illinois.
Yeah. Absolutely.
What opportunities are there for him?
So there's opportunities to, number one, I would look at it. What does he want to do? Right. I talk about the conversation of what's the future look like? Does he want to play pro? Does he want to go into, marketing? Does he want to go into broadcasting? Who knows what it could be? And then I work to help them build their athlete brand, which is that kind of, helicopter view of, yes, NIL is part of that. But it's like, what do you want to do and how do we align you with your goals? And so then we work together to figure out what brands make sense. You got some great grip companies here today, that I already can think of that then would be on a baseball bat. And he could be talking about how this grip really helps me. And he could then be a brand, ambassador for them. He could make some money. They're typically going to, pay product, but they're also going to probably pay a little bit of money.
Okay.
And what you need to do is get a starter deal. It's one that just allows you to get the first one, because then other brands are going to notice and go, oh, okay, that baseball player is repping brands. We should reach out to that player. And then all of a sudden they're getting maybe a bigger deal and another one. And then they're getting reached out to by clothing companies and it just baseball hat companies. Everybody starts coming because you said, I'm open for business.
There's a lot of naysayers. A lot of people do not like this.
Yep.
It's going to ruin college sports.
Yep.
How do you counter argue that?
Yeah, so I counter argue that actually with a story that came out in the Wall Street Journal that I had where I was quoted as saying this. But we have 8-year-olds out on YouTube making millions of dollars. And I feel strongly as a former athlete that athletes work 10 times harder. They can't go out and get a job. They don't have time to do that. And so this is the way they can monetize and be able to earn a living. There are kids out there right now that can't even afford meals. Like I heard stories about it. It's sad. And so this allows them the opportunity to make that money, to give back to their family. This may be a first-time college athlete. And then all of a sudden they can give their mom or their dad that payment on a house or a car or whatever it may be. Or it could just be as small as, wow, I feel like I've made it. It doesn't need to be huge. But boy, I'll tell you what, Brian, when you have an athlete that starts to do NIL, you'd be amazed at how much better their performance is on the field, on the ice. Now they feel valued, like somebody cares about me and I'm worth it. And that's a really cool feeling to see.
Well, I think we're in the early stages of NIL. It's here to stay.
Oh, it's
obviously
here to stay. Yeah,
the court
train has left the station.
Yeah, the courts have made their decision, and so I think that fight has been settled. So we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, and the other thing too, I think that's kind of in your wheelhouse is high school. This is coming down. It's now going to be a drip effect, is the fact that a lot of high school athletes are looking at the college kids now and going, Oh, that's NIL. Oh, they represent that brand. Boy, I'd want to do that when I get to college. And it really is important to start now in high school to start to think about what do you want to do? How do you want to grow your brand? And what do you want to stand for? And what college do you want to go to? Because at the end of the day, that impacts your NIL as well. You know, are you going to go to a big school? You're going to go to a smaller school. You know, the bigger schools have the resources. They've got what's called collectives that are going to go out and help you get these deals. And you don't want to have to lift a finger if you really didn't want to.
Mm-hmm.
So it starts early. It starts with recruitment videos, you know, like trying to get recruited to play college sports. You're essentially branding yourself, you know, and that's what NIL is. It's your name, image, and likeness. And what does somebody think about when they hear or see your name?
Well, I played baseball at Mankato.
Okay.
And if I could have got some free hot ham and cheeses at Hardee's, I would have been happy.
Yeah, I was going to say, right?
Yeah.
So you know the feeling, and that's exactly what these athletes are looking for too. It's that feeling of I'm worth it. I can offset some of my costs. I don't have to ask my parents for the money to go get that, you know, sandwich. And this feels really good every time I swipe my gift card.
Yeah. Well, good.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you joining us.
Yeah,
I'll
absolutely.
let you get back to your booth and sign some NIL agreements.
I do want to say thank you to you and obviously your team that put this on. I mean, this is my first time coming to the Let's Play Hockey Expo. Brent Berger, of course, Ella's dad, told me all about it. He said, oh, this is where all the brands are. This is, you know, the high school tournament. And I'm like, yeah, I totally can see it now. You know, exactly what he's talking about. And it's really well organized. Great brands, great people. Minnesota Nice is true. You know, like obviously a Maine-based company. But I came here because I believe in what's here in Minnesota.
I appreciate that. It is a fun day. It's a fun weekend.
Yeah.
Kind of a big hockey party under one
Yeah.
tent and get everyone together. And it's good to see the smiles on kids' faces as they run around from booth to booth.
Yeah.
So,
I love it.
appreciate you joining me.
Absolutely. Thank
And
you.
we'll follow this NIL story as it happens.
Yeah, it does. Every day.
Yeah. Thank you, Greg.
Thanks.
That's Greg Glynn from Pliable Marketing. He is here at the Let's Play Hockey Expo, and your website is pliablemarketing.com.
Correct.
All right. Thank you, and we will be back shortly with another guest. All right, welcome back to the Let's Play Hockey podcast. We are at the Let's Play Hockey Expo. Here it is Saturday, March 8th. It's Championship Saturday, and we got the Class A game going on right now. I think it's tied zip after one. I'm joined now by Scott Bjugstad, former Minnesota high school star, played at the Gophers, and of course played with the Minnesota Northstars. And been a vendor here for, you say, about 20 plus years?
20 years. No, I actually been a vendor here probably 25. One spot, last spot is 20 years.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about your high school days. Irondale. Back when Irondale was pretty strong. I grew up in the 80s and high school in the 90s, and Irondale was damn good. You know, I played for Tartan, and Irondale was a big rival for us. So back in the 70s, you graduated 79, I think you said. Did you guys make it to the state tournament?
My senior year, we did. We had the group that I was with never had really gone to the state tournament until we had a younger group that was our sophomore group that came in, had won the state championship, Pee-wees and Bantams. So they were actually second in the nation in Pee-wees. They're a really good team. So we were super happy to have those guys come up. And when those guys came up, we had a third line and part of the second line that pushed us over, and we got in there my senior year.
I was talking with Tom Pederson about depth and how important that is. You know, a lot of these Class A schools, they got a good first line, but how important it is to have that good second line and even that third line that you can go out there, get the other guys a rest and just keep the puck out of the net.
Well, I think it's I hear coaches sometimes say, we got enough scorers, we don't need more scorers. I'm like, there's never enough scorers.
Right.
If you got your fourth line that can score, your third line that can score, you're gonna win games. And that's kind of, it's super important. You see the teams that are really deep here that end up like Stillwater and Moorhead right now. They got 3 really good lines.
Yeah.
And they got 4 good D, and they're solid. And they, every once in a while, I know the team I coach at Blaine, we actually played with 2 lines and third line, we spotted them in there. Our third line was good, but our first 2 lines were unreal. And our defense, we played, we had 3 main D that we played, and the other guys spotted in, but that doesn't happen very often.
Right.
So I mean, its depth is super, super important.
Well, I think and you look at the Edinas and the Hill Murrays and the perennial powers, they can always roll 9 forwards and pretty close to 6D. And not only is that important at the beginning of the game, but it's super important towards the end of the game, to have those fresh legs out there and whatnot. So if you wonder why Edina is so good all the time, it's because they got depth.
Yeah.
They don't always have the top end talent that maybe some other teams have, but they got depth and they're hard to score on. Those types of teams too, well coached and whatnot. After Irondale, went on to play for the Golden Gophers. Tell me about that experience and what that was like, and maybe some of your teammates that you played with.
Actually, one of my teammates here, Steve Alseth, I just got done talking to him, but we had Neil Broughton, Aaron Broughton. I played with Butsy Erickson, and I and Steve Griffith played together for 2 years. But it was nice because I didn't play very much my first year and a half. Then I got my foot in the door and then I played. But it was really nice. The college stuff was unbelievable at that time. I mean, there was no NIL money, obviously, but we were all fighting for the same thing. We all wanted to go play the next level, and our team was really good. We were always good because we had seniors there that played 4 years. We had, we didn't have a lot of guys leaving in 2 years.
Right. We see that more and more today, where college hockey is not so much a destination anymore; it's a stepping stone. Where I think for back when you and I grew up, college hockey was a destination. If you went beyond that, well, wow, you were exceptional, and it was a great opportunity. You did get to go beyond that. Tell me about your NHL experience. Did you sign? Were you drafted, or did you sign? How did that all work?
I was drafted by the Northstars. Actually drafted in the 9th round. They had a supplementary drafter, so I didn't get drafted my first in 18. When I was 20, I think I got drafted. But I actually went to the Olympic team after college, and I had a really good senior year when I was in college. And at that point, I thought I never really thought about playing after. When I was in high school, I didn't think about playing anything but college. When I was in college, I didn't think about anything but college. Then it was the Olympic team. Then I was thinking, maybe I'm going to be able to play. And I went in right away and played.
Okay.
So I played a few games in Salt Lake City, which was their minor league team when I came out of my Olympic year. And then the rest of the time I was with the Northstars, I went Northstars, Pittsburgh, and then Los Angeles.
Tell me about the Northstars now. Did you skate when you were at the U? Were you and Bratz on a line together there?
Nope. Neil and I weren't. Nope. He was a center. I was a center there. So, but he was there. He came there after the Olympic year, and he was unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, first American to score, and you were part of it. You were a big part of that season that he had when he scored 105 points. I want to say it was 82, 83, or 83, 84.
No, that was 80.
Or 85.
You're talking about Northstars?
Northstars.
It was 86. 85, 86, I think.
Okay. And I think you had 43 goals that year, which to score 40 goals in the NHL, there's not many people that say they've done that. And I remember watching that. That was my heyday Northstars game days, and you and Bratz and Cicerelli on that power play was unbelievable. And I think you guys must have scored, 60% of your points on that PP that year. It just seemed like, if we got 5 power plays, we were putting 2 in, that night.
Yeah, it was, Neil's the best player that I played with. I mean, I played with Gretzky in Los Angeles, and I played with Mario in Pittsburgh, but I never really got to play with him. And I was a center at that time too. So, with the Northstars, I played with Neil and Dino, and they were unbelievable. Neil would just say, just get open. And I'd say, I can do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell me about him a little bit. His game. Obviously, he was more of a playmaker than a goal scorer. He's obviously done some incredible things in the NHL. I think he's kind of underrated, really, when you talk about, some of the best NHL guys from that era, just because maybe Minnesota was a smaller market back then. But tell me what made him special. Was it his vision? Was it his skating? Was it his playmaking? I mean, we know what Dino could do. He was just a scorer, right? I mean, you get puck on his stick in front of the net, and it was going in. And I think, and your probably best attribute was your shot.
Yeah.
Right. And big body. I mean, you could just get in good position. But tell me what made Neil special.
Well, all those things you mentioned, he could do them all. And one of the things when you watch Neil play, it looked really easy. He was always in the right spot. Just defensively, he didn't have to work very hard because he was always in the right spot. He did work hard, but it didn't look like he was working hard. But when he got the puck, he was super fast. He had a whole bunch of different gears, but when he got over the blue line, he could find guys, and the pucks always landed flat when he gave them to you, so it was easy to shoot. But he was he was just incredible. His hockey sense was just off the charts.
Yeah. And you said you played with Gretzky. I know that was towards the end of Gretzky's career, I think. Tell me a little bit about him. What kind of guy was he like, and what maybe even during practice, but what made him? You talk about vision and talk about being in the right place. He just seemed to have a sixth sense that we talk about, when it comes to hockey.
Yeah, he was. He wasn't overpowering. The first time I saw him, I'm like, ooh, he's. He didn't look like he worked out a ton, and he was kind of thin guy. And didn't weigh very much, but he was unbelievable when he got on the ice. He just knew where everybody was going to be, where the puck was going to go. I mean, if I wasn't playing and I was watching from press box, it was funny because we used to joke. We say, okay, let's see if we can figure out where he's going to pass the puck next. He'd get the puck and go, it's going to go over there. Well, he wasn't looking at it, but it would go to the right spot every single time. So he just was uncanny at seeing things, but he was, he didn't make the wrong play offensively. I probably didn't see 2 out of 5 years I was there.
Yeah. Yeah. Just a special player. And Ovi's going to break his record probably.
He's going to break it with gold, but I don't think anybody's ever touched it off his assist record.
No, I think he's got more assists than anyone else has points.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, he turned a lot of players into some pretty big goal scorers. Talk about that 43 year for you, scoring 43 goals. Fun year for the Northstars fans. I know Neil becomes the first American-born player to get 100 points, and obviously you were a big part of that. Scoring 43 goals. Tell me about that season, what that was like.
Well, first I was super happy to get on that line. I still remember the day that JP Parisi told me that you're going to go on their line now. And in the first game, I think I scored 2 goals, and then I was always, I guess, if I had a really good center, and I always found a way to score. And then with Dino was the same way. He was an unbelievable goal scorer, but I don't think he ever got credit by how good a passer he was. He was an unreal passer. So both of those guys made it pretty easy. I mean, I had a lot of goals, but I give a lot of credit to those guys too. They were the reason. We kind of worked good together. We kind of fed off each other, but it was an awesome year.
And you did it with a zero flex stick, right?
Well, we never knew what we got. We'd get 12 wood sticks, and we might get 2 good ones out of the bunch.
Yeah.
And so it was, now the sticks are, they all weigh the same. They look the same. Every curve's exactly the same. So it's interesting, but it's a different game now. And the goalie pads are bigger now. They weren't as big then, but the sticks were not very good. I mean, compared to what they are.
It's almost an equalizer, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. Now tell me about, you run Scott Bjugstad Shooting School. You've been doing that for a few decades now. Tell me the importance, I mean, I know a kid can go in and he can buy a brand new stick, but the stick's not gonna make the puck go in the back of the net. It might help, but tell me about technique a little bit. What should kids be focusing on? What age should they start really working on their shooting technique?
Well, they should start working on it as soon as they can shoot. But it's, we always tell the kids or the parents that if their attention span's good enough for what we're doing, then the earlier the better. But the curves, we used to be told when we were younger, use a straight stick and try to figure out which way you shoot, and then use that for a while because it's easier to use in the curves, and it's not even. The curves make it so much easier to play. I mean, the puck stays on the blade much better. It forces the kids into a strong position to shoot it. And when they're younger, all they want to do is shoot top corner. And if they have sticks that they can't get it up there, they're going to figure out a way to push it up there. So we talk to the kids at the beginning about how their sticks work and what has to happen to make the puck go where you want it to go. There's certain places on the blade that work better than other places when you're shooting it. What controls the height of their shots? Why does the puck go left and right? We want them to know exactly what's going on with their sticks so they can correct themselves when they're practicing. If they can't correct themselves, then they're just going to shoot pucks and it's not going to go through the goalie's body.
Right. Now, back when we played, you talked about the goalie pads were a lot smaller. Now, and goalies kind of stood up, so you always wanted to shoot low. Has that changed now with the bigger pads and goalies with the butterfly, kind of technique that they use? Do you teach? I mean, obviously you got to learn to shoot low and shoot high and shoot mid-range, whatever, and look for the open spot. But any advice there?
Well, there's certain ways the goalies have to move every time they go down. I mean, all of them do the same thing now. There's certain spaces when they go down that open up, and if you're good at hitting that area and know where that space is, it's a huge thing. 5-hole is another thing that kids. You watch NHL guys, if they have shootouts, they'll try to score 5-hole almost every time.
And that with that little window there, when they got to break, when they break down, you got to hit that window, otherwise it's not a goal, right?
Well, that's why you got to practice.
Right.
And if you come in and the puck's 3 inches high, it hits the bottom of the pad, doesn't go in. So there's some very specific things we work on, and with the first part of it, we go through a package where they do 2 1-hour sessions. Then we start doing more stuff that's more advanced. We have Grace Sumwinkle from the pro team, the girl pro team, is unbelievable at this stuff. And we have, Zach Parisi's been in there, Paul Martin. I had a bunch of pro guys in there, a bunch of college guys in there, but they all, Mikko Koivu came in and I asked him, do you know where the puck's coming off your blade? He goes, no, I just shoot it. And so even at the higher levels, and I mean, Mikko was an awesome player, but even him, I told him I wasn't going to try to change the way he shoots. I just wanted to know exactly what happens with these sticks. And once those guys get it, it's scary.
Right.
Especially with the new sticks.
Yeah. So it's a good opportunity. Obviously skating is important. Stick handling is important. But you can't score unless you're able to shoot the puck.
Yeah.
Right. So tell me about some of the your Scott Bjugstad shooting school, some upcoming dates maybe that you got, and how people can register.
Well, we have camps in March. We have one coming up the one this week is full. When we have 2 weeks, there's a couple spaces in there, but so we have one in April and May, and they're full. And right now, the opens we have are in the summer program. And that's when we take 12 to 14 kids, which is not a lot of kids, and we have 4 instructors, and we just do all shooting stuff that we've done in the off-ice lessons. So it's all movement stuff. So they come out of there dying because there's 6 kids or 7 kids in each end, and we just shoot pucks for an hour. So that's kind of what's open now, but it's the on-ice stuff kind of, the off-ice stuff connects to the on-ice stuff. So you kind of have to do that off-ice first, then we let you go on the ice. So we have all the right sticks and all this.
Okay. And I know, we always tell kids, we got to shoot pucks. 10,000 pucks this summer. Shoot 10,000 pucks this summer. But if you're doing it the wrong way, you might not be getting out of it what you should be getting out of it. So learning technique from someone in the pros, scored 43 goals, 40 goals. How many career goals do you have, Scott?
I don't even know.
Well, no, we'll have to look them up on Elite Prospects, I guess. But obviously a great career, high school career, college career, pro career. Now helping kids achieve those dreams as well. So check him out. Your website?
ScottBjugstad.com.
ScottBjugstad.com. He's got some openings this summer. And if you want to learn to fire the puck and score more goals, you got to learn the right technique. So Scott, go ahead.
And we do off-ice lessons all year long. So there's lessons that we do all year long that you come to our house. I actually have a building at the house and we do the off-ice lessons. So that's the first thing they have to do. Then they can do all the other stuff that I mentioned.
Okay, good to know. Check him out, scottbjugstad.com, former Irondale Star, former Golden Gopher, and of course, former Minnesota Northstar, Pittsburgh Penguin, and Los Angeles King here at the Let's Play Hockey Expo. Signing off, Scott, we appreciate it. We'll let you get back to your booth and teach some kids how to shoot the puck.
All right, thanks for having me.
Thank you. All right, that's it for us today at the Let's Play Hockey podcast at the Let's Play Hockey Expo. Thanks for joining us. If you stop down at the Expo, we appreciate it. If not, we hope to see you next year. Big game tonight. We'll follow up on that with our next podcast on how the results of the tournament went. And thanks, of course, for producing. And we will see you soon.
It's time now. So let's play hockey.